waiting for an answer, so the sooner the better. Then I think everyone.
Would you like to see it happen, or?
Yeah, I think the majority of people would like to.
I mean, they've got to pass the owners and directors test. Not that anyone has ever managed to fail.
Been going on for such a long time.
Yeah.
That's why I say they need an answer, because they need to plan for next season.
A decision needs to be made. OK, let's look forward to the second half. Newcastle trail, they've got it all to do. Let's rejoin Guy Mowbray and Martin Kick.
Thank you, Gary. Just having a look just to see if there are any changes being made. Not yet by either Steve Bruce nor Pep Guardiola. I know Martin alongside me thinks that man, Steve Bruce, might as well change something.
Well, he won't want to give it too long, will he? Because total dominations from City in that first half. You're going to want to do something just for the benefit of his own players. They've been playing very well recently, Newcastle, with a totally different formation. And today there's only one team in it, so if you're going to go out, you want to go down fighting. I don't think you'll be leaving it too long to change this.
So it is as we were in terms of lineups for the restart. And it is Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1. Kevin De Bruyne from the penalty spot, 36th minute. His 12th goal this season. Scored in the final, one of the 6 against Watford that the FA Cup holders scored last season. Newcastle United throw. Newcastle's first appearance in the quarter-final this since 2006, when they lost at Chelsea. It's actually the first time they've got past round 4 in 14 seasons. Unless something drastically changes in what we're seeing here, they won't be going any further.
Well, I think they've changed the system slightly, Guy. Actually, Scherer has gone into that midfield, just sitting slightly in front. Looks more like a back 4 now.
Yeah, has played there quite a lot throughout his career, Fabian Scherer, Swiss international. Mankio with the Newcastle throw. He's just signed a new 4-year deal to keep him on Tyneside. Almiron. Not had the chance to be as busy as he usually is. Miguel Almiron down the right for Newcastle. That was Lascelles. Mendy puts it out. Almiron trying to make himself available, just created a bit of a space for Scherer. There's De Bruyne on the edge of his own box to pass the ball away. And Mahrez to run with it. Sterling to run outside. On the other side, it's missed David Silva, but it will come to Jesus. There's a knock there for Sam Maximan, and Lee Mason has blown his whistle and given the free kick to Newcastle.
And they got bodies back there well, Newcastle. I think that was the challenge for them. Without so many players there, can they be more effective? He's just stood on him there, hasn't he? At least Steve Bruce has responded and he's tried to do something a little bit different. I think they'll still push their fullbacks on, though.
A trio of Steves. Bruce, Agnew and Clements. Here's Carroll. Longstaff's giving it away to Mahrez. It's Hayden trying to win it back. Instead, it's City who break. Sterling will let it run for Kevin De Bruyne. Walker is in the penalty area. Got there very quickly.
Scherer getting back into that mid seems much more.
Mendy. Laporte. It's just a little bit of extra enthusiasm about Newcastle now.
Well, you're getting up the pitch a little bit and you're trying to put your opponent under pressure. Ask a few questions of City.
That one is controlled by David Silva, just managed to evade Fabian Schär. You can see the positive difference it's made by stationing him just in front of the defence now. For now. Just a new picture, isn't it, for City? Slightly different. I don't want to say mannequins in front of them, but it did look like that in the first half. Had so much possession. Look at them just engaging a little bit more now, just forcing City back. Longstaff and Hayden higher up the field. There's Schär. Carroll. Carroll to hold it away from Otamendi and to be hacked from behind by the Argentinian.
I think he's glad of a free kick there.
There's the new man at the right-hand side of Mikel Arteta, Juanma Lillo. Arteta considers him something of a mentor, 54 years old. Or rather, Guardiola considers him as something as a mentor. He was Guardiola's last playing boss at Dorados in Mexico. He was once the youngest boss in La Liga as well. He comes to City from a spell in China with Qingdao Huanghai.
Well, he's obviously got a great football mind.
Been the boss of 17 club sides around the world. Never really winning trophies, but winning lots of admirers for the style of play, and that is Guardiola, Bielsa and co all over.
Yeah, and Guardiola needs somebody, doesn't he, in his staff to test him, to push him. Keep pushing the envelope, new ideas, a freshness in his staff.
Fernandes in late on Jesus. Just be a sign as well that Guardiola does intend to stay at least for the rest of his contract to the end of next season, and maybe a bit beyond that. Of course, there's lots to be sorted out with Manchester City off the field with their Champions League ban decision, the Court of Arbitration for Sport talking about that next month. And playing today as Mendy gets it in. Newcastle try and scramble clear again. There's Carroll. Longstaff. Hayden can't keep it. This is De Bruyne. Gundogan. David Silva finds a pocket of space. Mendy. Too strong. Máximo. Off he goes. Hasn't had much chance to run with the ball at his feet, as he really enjoys doing.
Just giving it away again, haven't they, Newcastle?
It's Mahrez. Mahrez looks up, hopefully anticipating a free kick. Nothing came. David Silva. Mahrez, really good effort. Wasn't going to contemplate anything else as soon as he got the ball then.
No, wonderful effort, wasn't it? He really let rip with this one as well. Great strike, just can't keep it underneath that crossbar.
Up and away. Otamendi. A touch from Sterling to David Silva, who was pulled back. Lee Mason says the advantage is significant enough. Silva. Mahrez. Mendy moving left side. The ball's coming his way via Gundogan maybe. Sterling's fed it into Jesus, who is offside, and that's going to be a Newcastle free kick.
You can see a slight improvement with Newcastle in this second half, but what they need to do is just protect the ball just a little bit better when they get it. City really ask you that question: are you good enough to keep possession? Can you play? Can you tango like us? Because they can play football, and they want to see if you can as well. And you be brave in possession when you get it.
Gundogan and Laporte went for that together. Here's Sam Maximin. Ball in just too high for Longstaff. Carroll was behind it. Behind it goes for a goal kick. But he's just starting to get the ball at his feet a little bit more, Sam Maximin, and enjoy a little bit more free rein.
He looks, doesn't he, the one player that can play at this level with these City players. He's explosive, he's quick, believes in himself. Kept giving it away a little bit in that first half, but this system now will help him to play a little bit more football.
There's De Bruyne. David Silva. He can't get anywhere that time. Now Almiron might be on. Mendy's missed it. Keogh is in support of the Paraguayan. Almiron's got away all the way across to Sam Maximin.
He's done well there, Almiron. He didn't panic, he's kept possession for his team.
And now here is the French winger. I've said a couple of times this season, the two players I most look forward to watching just at the moment in England are Alan Saint-Maximin and Adama Traore of Wolves. Similar exciting styles.
Both got great pace.
Traore maybe just a year ahead in his development in terms of end product, as Carroll is penalised for barging into Laporte. Well, that happened very early on in the game too.
Well, he's almost a human cannonball, isn't he? Look, whether that's an arm or a head, I'm not too sure.
The arm was on the shoulder, and then it was head-to-head a bit. I think he's entitled to go for that,
No,
like
for
that,
sure,
isn't he?
for sure. He's got to go for that. When you slow it down, maybe it looks worse than it is. I think they're just checking to see that that's not an elbow. Laporte's up nice and quickly anyway.
I suppose Aymeric Laporte has come up against Andy Carroll too often before. I do remember a game early on in his career, it might have even been his England debut against France at Wembley, when he came out of the home dressing room into the tunnel, and the French central defenders looked to the right and did a double take when they saw him. On his day, and maybe he's had his day in terms of the very peak of his game, but practically unplayable.
Well, perhaps, and he's probably one of the finest headers of the ball we've ever seen in the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. Always, though, unfortunately, coming back from some sort of injury.
I don't remember early season him scoring a hat-trick for Newcastle against Aston Villa on this pitch, and he took them apart. 6-0, I think that was, a few years ago now. There's Gundogan. Sterling to David Silva. Sterling again, can't wriggle through. Danny Rose. There's more about Newcastle now.
They're trying to play a little bit of football themselves.
Here's Sam Maximin. Rose. Haven't really seen him get into the other half yet. He has now. And that's across to Almiron. Hayden points. Manquillo gets. Cher didn't quite control it, nor did Almiron, but he's got a touch of fortune. And then a bit of misfortune.
Just didn't come off there. I think we heard Alan Shearer say, didn't we, at half-time, that you're expanding so much energy when you're trying to chase after the opposition. Now it's more balanced, a bit of balance to the team, and they can go and play themselves with a bit of freedom.
Steve Bruce a little more enthused by what he's seeing from his team now. Took Hull City all the way to the FA Cup final in 2014. Bruce was actually a ball boy at Wembley for the 1976 League Cup final. when Manchester City beat Newcastle thanks to a Dennis Chewett spectacular overhead kick. Steve Bruce was part of the Newcastle Schools delegation, so got to patrol the touchline in his tracksuit.
Should have won that cup final, shouldn't they, when he was manager of Hull?
Got off to a good start against Arsenal.
We'll let them off the hook. I was pleased to say that day.
I'm sure you were. There's Longstaff to Sam Maximan, and it's 4 up for Newcastle in this attack. Sam Maximan uses the first of that number. Sean Longstaff. Newcastle throw. Walker's limped back into defence. As Carroll goes down to the deck, and the assistant referee is waving his arm. It's Manchester City's decision, and Carroll knew it was going to go like that.
Well, I think he's just strayed slightly offside there. He was looking for that ball to come in the box. And as they get better possession, Newcastle, then the service should start to come. Trying to press high here. Didn't see that in the first half.
Manchester City certainly don't mind passing the ball out of defence, and now Carroll has left a little bit on Laporte again, and it's third time unlucky for Andy Carroll. He's going to get a yellow card this time. Well, it is 3 all on the same player.
Well, here's the replay. Laporte's just waiting for that challenge, isn't he? I don't know, it's clumsy, but doesn't really seem malicious or out of control. He wouldn't have been booked in my day, I can tell you, for that.
You'd have had a word, though.
Certainly would have done.
Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden getting their instructions from Rodolfo Borrell. New faces introduced to the game, but it'll be the same sort of flow from Manchester City. Claudio Bravo goes long. De Bruyne effortlessly onto the ball. Looking for Sterling, but won't find him like that. Darlow with a little spill, no damage done.
No. The wrong paintbrush there, wasn't it? Didn't quite finesse that in the right manner. We can forgive him that, though. De Bruyne, what a wonderful player he is. Always a joy to watch him play. It feels much more of a football match now.
It's like a proper cup tie. It's not quite the one-way traffic that it was throughout the first 45 minutes. Sam Maximan. De Bruyne. Sterling. Sterling to David Silva. Knows he hasn't got the pace. He's going to try something else. He's going to use Mendy. Mendy in. Controlled, and it's a great last-ditch tackle from Rose, and in fact he's going to get a free kick. Jesus got it down, he was ready to shoot, Rose got in the way and took the kick.
It's great play, isn't it, down this left-hand side. Look, he just lets it onto his chest, and Rose just nips in, reads it really well. Good defending. Just can't quite get his foot on it, Jesus.
It's going to be Pep Guardiola who makes the first substitution moves. Bernardo Silva on for David Silva, 20 for 21. That's the first we're going to see. And the other one we'll see Riyad Mahrez exit the action, and Phil Foden, he's on in his place. Foden, who scored 2 against Burnley last Monday, missed the game at Chelsea with a dead leg. And before the restart, Newcastle are trying to sneak a couple of changes of their own now. Might as well all happen at once. Dwight Gale is on. Joe Linton is coming on. Andy Andy Carroll is already off. And it's a disappointed-looking Miguel Almiron who's also making way. Well, it's the FA Cup. There are always tales to tell from this competition. Joe Linton, for all his woes this season, has the chance to really make a mark.
A bit surprised to see Almiron going off there, but Steve Bruce had his arm around his shoulder, I'm sure saying, look, don't want to risk you any longer.
He's just one of those players who I think would play for 24 hours a day if he could.
Oh, he's non-stop, isn't he?
There is Joe Linton playing on the right-hand side. He's come on for Almiron. Gale through the middle. Gale scored just 94 seconds after coming on against Aston Villa here on Wednesday. And Joe Linton scored in the game here before that against Sheffield United. Ports let it bounce. Gale gets to it, not to do a lot with it.
Well, he's got two strikers who've got a point to prove, Steve Bruce. So he's put them on.
Given away. There's Sam Maximan. Sam Maximan pulls across. Oh, that had to go in. It absolutely had to hit the back of the net from Dwight Gale. Instead, it's into the Gallowgate end.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's a glorious opportunity. Otamendi here, look, awful. Just comes back to Maximan, puts it across, and you think, that's just a tap-in, surely. Dear, oh dear.
Here's Sterling. Into the penalty area to take on Manquillo and to win a corner.
He does well there, Manquillo, tackling with his left foot.
But even in an empty stadium, you can almost feel the chatter of disappointed supporters.
But you certainly can. I mean, it's a great opportunity for them. For all the possession that City have had, I mean, it's a glorious chance for Newcastle there. He's just come off the bench, and you have to be ready for that moment, don't you? You never know when it's going to come. And he wasn't.
De Bruyne. Over to Foden. Met by Joe Linton and closed successfully by Cher. Here's Mendy. Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne.
I think that chance, though, Guy, comes when you actually try to put a bit of pressure on. It's just staying deep and being shot at the whole time. If you go and press, put your opponent under pressure, it forces City back.
It's happening again, isn't it?
Yes, we've got to do that, Newcastle.
Laporte, De Bruyne. Laporte, that's a super ball, and what a bit of control from Foden too. Sterling. Mendy's making one of those runs outside again. Sterling's ignored him and gone for goal, and he finds the goal, and that is Raheem Sterling all over. Lovely shift to his right, brilliant finish, curled inside the post. Newcastle miss a gaping opportunity to equalise, and moments later they are behind by 2.
And this is good as game over. And if you look at Sterling when he gets this ball, I mean, Laporte, this is a wonderful pass, isn't it? To Foden, great touch, runs with it, travels. And when Sterling gets this ball, he looks up, and time stands still for a second, and he just hits that into the corner. Beautiful finish, so in control. Look at him, we've got time and space. Do you know what? I'll just curl this nicely into the corner. Beautiful.
There's the improvement in Raheem Sterling. When he gets the ball in that position, you kind of just know what's going to happen next with him now. That's the cue for the drinks break in the second half. It's the cue for us to get the thoughts of Alan Shearer and Micah Richards.
Well, it was much more positive from Newcastle. Steve Bruce had moved Fabian Schär into midfield rather than having three at the back, and it seemed to work for them and having more possession. And then was more positive, and then bringing the two forwards on, and that guy there, Dwight Gale, in the pitch has missed an absolute sitter, and then straight almost immediately Sterling with a great finish. I still think there'll be more chances in the game, and Newcastle might get one, but very difficult for them now.
That's the problem with Manchester City. They dominate the game for so long. A little bit of lapse in concentration. Gale should have really scored. It should be 1-1. But with City dominating possession, he's always going to get a chances. And it was an unbelievable finish by Sterling.
That was a brilliant finish by Raheem Sterling. It might be the game finished, although, as Alan pointed out, there are sure to be more chances. There are going to be more changes. Two made by Pep Guardiola now. João Cancelo is coming on. Walker off. That's a straight swap down the right. And Rodri's going to come on as well. And Kevin De Bruyne is going to get a breather, having been so instrumental in everything Manchester City have done since the return to action.
I mean, this is good management. Take your key players off. So impressive, Man City, Guardiola, and you look at Sterling and the growth and the development, the information he gets from his manager, and he goes and does what he does now. He's the real deal now, Sterling. You expect him to score in those areas.
Newcastle United throw. Guardiola's taken a seat, looks a whole lot more relaxed now.
You say there's no fans here, Guy, but the ones that are sitting at home will be Gale's miss. We'll be still talking about it, surely. Still talking about it this time next week.
How often does that happen in a game of football like this? Key chance like that missed, and the other goes up the other end and scores.
When you're playing against really top quality opponents, you have to make it count, and it really hurts when you don't take those opportunities.
There's the freshly introduced Rodri finding Bernardo Silva. Gundogan. Bernardo Silva back to Nicolas Otamendi. It was his mistake that led to the Gale chance. Rodri. Manchester City looking to find their rhythm again. Newcastle with just a little bit of wind knocked out of their sails again.
You can see that they're back in control, City, as if they were never really out of control, but they were tested a little bit. As we say, if you don't take your chances, then you don't win football matches.
Rodri. Foden. João Cancelo. Foden. Masterful control.
He's purring, isn't he, Foden?
Gundogan, Sterling, he's got it to Mendy, who's got it across, and it's turned behind by Federico Fernandez.
And I think
City corner.
It was Foden that was lurking, wasn't it? Just in front of that clearance. Flowing football again.
Silva delivers this one. Gundogan. Jesus manages to keep the attack going. Gundogan. Foden. Just thought he might have had the chance to shoot for a moment. Instead he plays it towards Sterling. Missed by Sam Maximan. City throw. Double Newcastle change coming before that throw. DeAndre Yedlin and Valentino Lazaro are the players to come on. Alan Sam Maximan is off. He's had precious little chance to sparkle, as we've seen him do so much over the course of this season.
It's the right and proper thing, though, to take him off, protect him. This game's as good as over, really, from a Newcastle point of view.
Danny Rose is the other player to have gone off. Means Manquillo has gone to left back. Yedlin will play on the right. Here's Lazaro, who can be exciting. Not quite like Sam Maximin, different sort of style, but he's fast enough. Scher has won a free kick for Newcastle. Lazaro is on loan from Inter. Just his 8th senior appearance for Newcastle. And here's Joe Linton. Joe Linton's ball in, it's just too high for Longstaff. Here is Lazaro. Nice bit of skill to beat Mendy. Played in by Lascelles. Claudio Bravo went a long way to get a glove to that.
He did. He took charge of the situation.
Foden's given it away. Mendy's hacked it away. There's still plenty going on in this cup tie. Longstaff presents it to Sterling, who's trying to hold off Yedlin. Foden right. Jesus left. This is Foden. And Foden has missed the target.
He's unlucky there, Foden. Again, Sterling running with the ball, just gives it to him. He just tries to work it from the inside to the outside of the foot there.
Now this was the moment when it could have been 1-1 in a very different quarter-final.
Well, Maximum puts it across, and you look at this, Gale. I know there's pace on the ball, but he should be putting that in the back of the net.
He did score, what did I say, 94 seconds after coming on against Aston Villa on Wednesday. It was around about the same time, that.
Those sorts of misses haunt you.
Player who hasn't had a lot of football this season. There won't be a whole lot more FA Cup for Newcastle unless they can do something very, very quickly. Mendy has an easy route back to Claudio Bravo if he wants it. Punted forward towards Jesus. Foden's there with him. Jesus is trying to power past Lascelles, didn't work. And Lascelles has been forced to skew it behind for a corner under pressure.
Just looks a little bit ragged there, Lascelles, but he showed good pace against Jesus.
(2-0) the score, 7-0 on corners to City. Jesus, who ambles into the 6-yard box. Fabian Schär gets to grips with him. It's Bernardo Silva who leaves the box to give another option. Foden. Sterling. Very nicely kept in. Foden has it again. And that's too high for Otamendi.
Just overdoes it, but you can see Foden, can't you? The manager there, look, he's enjoying the football. Total football, by the way, City at the moment.
This is Newcastle's final chance to make a substitution, so Steve Bruce is going to give some game time to Matty Longstaff, who's been out with injury. Going to take the place of Isaac Hayden in midfield. Matty Longstaff's contract up. There is talk of a move to another team, plays in black and white stripes, Udinese of Italy, and who knows, maybe a loan to Watford after that, or maybe he'll sign a new deal and stay put with his beloved Newcastle United. Lots to happen on that front. Steve Bruce will not want to lose the young man he labelled, when he made a big impression earlier in this season, as like a kid in a sweet shop.
Well, this is just the sort of player that you want at your football club, isn't it? For the academy, you see those players make it into the first team, you want to keep them. So I sincerely hope he stays here and they can actually sort something out for the young man.
Played back by Rodri to Nicolas Otamendi, who's had an Otamendi sort of game. Mixed bag, generally pretty strong, but then just the odd brick. Here's Mendy, great ball to him. Jesus has to work to keep it going. Bernardo Silva is back with Jesus. There's Lazaro. Fernandez couldn't get a head of steam to keep it in. And it is going to be his team's throw. Coming up to the final 10 minutes. Shea. Matty Longstaff. Here's Fernandez. Lascelles. Lazaro. That's out. It'll be a Manchester City throw-in. Rodri withstands the bump from Longstaff S. Bernardo Silva. Gundogan.
Just keep ball at the moment, guys, isn't it? Just seeing this one out. As we say, you've got to keep respecting the game, the philosophy. One touch, two touch, keep give and go. They love the little triangles, don't they? Just popping it around.
Joe Linton. Well, the ball was taken, but a bit of the man was taken too by João Cancelo. Newcastle have the free kick. What they don't have is time on their side, you would think, to take this one anywhere near extra time. 2 goals in 9 minutes is asking too much.
I don't think I saw much wrong with that challenge, but there we are.
City come again, and it's in towards Sterling. And Darlow lost it, but took a whack from the boot of Raheem Sterling. Lee Mason has quickly brought play to a halt, although Darlow will be okay. All is well.
You see the smile on his face, Sterling really enjoying his football. Gundogan gets this ball in a wide position. Just look at this for a teasing cross. Sterling, look, reads it well. Goalkeeper's brave.
Talk about workloads and teams playing lots of games after coming back. Raheem Sterling rarely seems to get a breather.
He's just naturally, isn't he, gifted with that fitness that he has. And by the way, City might have looked a bit sluggish maybe their first game back, but now they really have hit the ground, haven't they? Talk about pre-seasons and preparation, all passing it beautifully. They look incredibly sharp at the moment. Still 2 more trophies for them to go after.
Rodri back to Claudio Bravo, who's been closed down by one of the Longstaffs. It was senior Sean. Gundogan dispossessed by Joe Linton, but it broke kindly for Otamendi. João Cancelo. Sterling. Bernardo Silva.
It's really interesting about the intelligence of the movement of each player, trying to find space. Look at Sterling again. It's just a give and go, and he just goes into space where he can receive the ball.
He's done so again.
Gundogan now is trying to play just off the front, looking for space also. Just patiently keeping possession till they can just thread those balls through the middle of this Newcastle team.
Well, I think we can say with some certainty that the final four is decided for the FA Cup semi-finals. It's going to be Manchester United against Chelsea, and it's going to be, barring a miracle end here, Arsenal against Manchester City. Here's Gundogan. Here's Mendy. Mendy across everything. Foden keeps the ball in. Very nice slide. Rodri. Lazaro, but that's going to be a Manchester City throw-in.
Well, you're wondering, can Jesus get on the end of that, but there's so much pace on it. It's very difficult.
Just thinking back to that semi-final lineup, Martin, you spotted at half-time the last four winners of the FA Cup: Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City. The order that the quarter-finals have progressed this weekend: Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City.
Yeah, an illustrious group. Try and pick a winner out of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if the team we're watching now are favourites. Bernardo Silva. This is beautiful stuff. Bernardo Silva again, blocked by Yedlin. City corner. They're cranking it up to score maybe 3, maybe 4 now.
The party hats are out there. Sterling just looks wonderful at the moment, the way he's playing. Everybody, it's infectious. It's like it grows through the team.
Silva with a dummy first up. He's going to put it into the box after all. So Mendy didn't get anything on it. There's Gundogan. João Cancelo. Foden. Back with Claudio Bravo. Bernardo Silva, what a pick out from Claudio Bravo. Beautiful touch from Bernardo Silva. Jesus, he wants a goal. Fernandes in his way.
Foden should have got that one. He was screaming at him for that ball.
He's got the ball now. It's pulled back behind Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling. And Joe Linton's got it through the legs of Mendy. Cher. And Matty Longstaff. Fernandes. And Keogh. Nice and easy for Laporte. Well, 3 minutes to go, Martin. I suppose I should badger you now for your man of the match choice today.
Well, for me, I'm going to go with Sterling. I think he's been magnificent in this game today. Really looks a top talent now. Just keeps developing all the time under Guardiola. And I can see him getting even better. Wonderful to watch.
The man who scored the 5th and 6th goals of all those that City put past Watford in last year's final has scored the 2nd one here today to put them through to a semi-final. Back to Wembley again. Manchester City South, that's what it's becoming. Here's Foden. Sterling leaves it for Bernardo Silva. Yedlin ensured that Darlow didn't have to save. But we're back to the pattern now. We had the Newcastle flurry, we had the response, they had the big chance to make it 1-1 before City made it 2-0. But now it's Manchester City playing with them again.
Yeah, exactly. They just pass it wonderfully well, following the philosophy of the manager. There's so many changes they've made, but it's still the same picture. Pass and move. I mean, the competition for places amongst these lads. Bernardo Silva not getting much football, really. Foden, we're seeing him develop, aren't we? An English player, of course, benefiting from all these foreign players around him.
Both of these great clubs have won the FA Cup 6 times. City the last time last year, Newcastle not since 1955. As Mendy plays it in. And Mendy wins it back. And what this means, of course, is that Newcastle wait for a domestic trophy, or the next chance they'll have. It's going to go on to 66 years. Such a shame for this cathedral-like stadium not to enjoy the success that their support warrants. Mendy into Sterling. Sterling to Rodri.
I think there's a real intention though today with City in the way that they're playing. They would have looked at Liverpool last year, won the Champions League, they won the Premier League. Why can't they do that this season?
Here's Jesus. A little bit more than shoulder to shoulder from Joe Linton in the ref's view. Free kick City.
Just barged him off it.
Are into an extra 3 more minutes minimum. Manchester City don't have an urgent need to score more goals, but they're trying to. Gundogan on free kick duty now, and he's whipped it in. Darlow didn't have to do anything with it.
Well, he's found that corridor. There's too much on it.
Cavernous, this place. Seems even more so when it's empty. In the very back of those stands you can see for miles and miles. Probably as far as Barnard Castle if your eyesight's good enough. And what the stadium won't see is a trophy again this year.
I did first play here in 1985 and none of that was the...
It was very different then, wasn't it?
The wind used to howl in, I can tell you.
Joe Linton's come on and put himself about a bit. And like Andy Carroll before him, he's earned himself a yellow card for it.
Yeah, well, it's a nudge, isn't it?
It's Claudio Bravo. Mendy want to climb over the top of Lazaro. Back to the Premier League after this for both these sides. Next week, that is, as Claudio Bravo gets it away from Dwight Gale. Newcastle go to Bournemouth on Wednesday, and the night after, it's Manchester City against Liverpool at the Etihad Stadium. There is a match of the day at 10:45 on BBC One on Thursday night. Jurgen Klopp is certainly licking his lips at that. Yes, his team's won the league, but he was saying Liverpool against Manchester City, it will be the greatest game ever played behind closed doors.
I'm sure
Could well be.
And they want that record number of points as well, Liverpool.
Sterling dancing with the ball. Bit of dressage there from Raheem Sterling before being unceremoniously bundled off it.
The bull and the matador. Look, just teasing him in. Oh, foul. Thank you very much.
Very appropriate. It was a Spanish matador, Manquillo, who went bundling in. And this might be just about the last action of the game. A game that Manchester City have dominated from start to finish, but there was that Newcastle flurry, and the big talking point from their point of view will be that it should have been 1-1 before it was 2-0. That one pulled back to Bernardo Silva, and the holders maintain their grip on the FA Cup. Pep Guardiola has got the better of Steve Bruce at St James's Park this afternoon. A first half penalty from Kevin De Bruyne. And then a super strike midway through the second half from Raheem Sterling, just moments after Dwight Gale had popped the ball over the bar just after he'd come on as a substitute. So that's it for Newcastle in the FA Cup for another season. Manchester City march on for a Wembley date with Arsenal, whilst Manchester United will play Chelsea. That's your final four. Your final score: Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 2.
Yeah, it's all pretty comfortable for Manchester City. Could, of course, been very difficult had Dwight Gale equalised when he ballooned it over the bar. But it's Manchester City, as Guy said, they go through to play against Arsenal. The other one, Manchester United, against Chelsea. And that was the moment, Alan, wasn't it?
It was the moment, yeah. Newcastle were a lot more positive in that second half. He changed it. He brought Shaw into midfield rather than having three in the defence. Gave them a few more alternatives in that second half to get on the ball and more passes. Then another positive substitution, 2 off, 2 on, and then straight away that huge chance for Dwight Gale. I mean, it was such a big opportunity, and that's when the game changed.
I must say, though, sitting here behind the goal.